So we're on our way to Normoon, right? Or somewhere abouts there. Leela is at least protecting Lairpool at the moment. She will continue to do so, but is unable to aid us in any other kind of assistance. We have to go back this way anyway, so I'm gonna go talk to the old fisherman to the east. And see what the heck he said. I thought he said we couldn't go to Lairpool, yet Lairpool is clearly up there. Oh boy, that was close. I love that they stuck the werehair in the battle sets in this area. Sometimes I think more games should do that, throwing in weak enemies. Although, because this game, as I've mentioned 100 times already, you know, does the back and forth with enemies, adding in the werehair significantly reduces the power of the battle set. You know, because when you, in any game, when you, or in any RPG, when you get into a battle, the game checks against a pool, right, of possible monster combinations, and then has you encounter a set from that pool. And so by adding werehairs to any of the sets here, it significantly makes them weaker. Although, again, that's a way that you could balance out particularly strong enemies. But it's such a weird mechanic, right? Like, to you and I, we would understand that perfectly. In fact, if we ran into a very strong enemy, we would know that if it was surrounded by weaker enemies, we would just naturally keep the weaker enemies alive. That way we would get free turns, right? Free turns is gang up on the big guy. But a new player isn't going to understand that, and so it makes it a very obtuse and kind of manipulative mechanic that shouldn't really be part of the game, and so I guess I'm glad that it isn't. If all the monsters attacked at the same time, though, it would be totally fine to have weaker enemies. They would just be like punching bags for you. It's fun to fight enemies you've already fought ages ago, because it reminds you of how strong you've become. We took like 3 steps. Typical JRPG. JRPG logic is fight monsters in this vast expanse of area. Take 3 steps, suddenly there are more monsters there. I mean, what does that look like? If you could actually see the monsters, wouldn't the fields just be like swimming with them? You could barely step anywhere without bumping into 10 monsters. Okay, what am I going to do? The water's flowing. We can't make the crossing. He says we can't make the crossing to Lairpool. But where would he have... I don't know. Maybe there's a dock in Lairpool, but we certainly didn't see one. Maybe it was his way of apologizing. He's like, sorry, I know we were going to Lairpool, but I had to drop you off like 2 blocks not at Lairpool. Looks like we got a spell called Exit, which is pretty cool. I'm imagining that takes us out of a dungeon. I don't rightly remember. Generally speaking, once you have the ability to heal, you never really need to exit a dungeon. Quickly, anyway. You essentially become a self-sustaining heal bot. We went back to the ship and confirmed that the old man does indeed say that he can't take us to Liverpool for some reason. So now we are off to Normoon to the south, and that's going to fix our wind problems that everyone keeps talking about. It seems like the current issue with the land is both wind and water-based, but don't be fooled. You can't really choose which order you do them in. You have to do wind first. No, we skipped our turn. Unfortunate. And the closer you are to an enemy, the harder it is to dodge the wind blades. Ooh, that's not good. Take another 10 from that. Oh, gravy. Come on. Come on, Brian. Can't afford to miss like that. Bridge is another safe zone, though, so we'll just run back and forth on the bridge a couple times. Probably good now. Could use a little more. Okay. It was nice we found that spirit we missed. How many of these stupid gremlins have so much HP? I don't know if using the staff is the right call. We take a lot of damage, like 12 from that shot, whereas we only take about... Well, we take 12 from the wind cutters, but if we're far enough away, we shouldn't take very much. Will you stop following us? Gotta make sure we take the right path. Yeah, it's just south. For some reason, I thought we had to go through Cull Hazard at this point of the game, though. I think we're gonna get to the end of this route, and it's gonna tell us that... the path is blocked for some reason. We can't get to Normoon without going through Cull Hazard. There's like nothing in this weird part. The grass is kind of dead. Okay, well, we'll make it down here soon enough anyway. I guess it's a good opportunity to pad out our stats. We're gonna need it. Cull Hazard. Whew. Cull Hazard is a journey of mental and physical endurance. Mental on us, physical on Brian. It's like, imagine a massive cave. Just a massive, massive cave that never ends. I mean, you probably don't have to imagine it. You've played this before, right? No, avalanche! That's a rough one. That is the highest level earth spell. And they gave it to a goat. You know what? Forget this. Come on! If the Hellhounds would just move a little closer. Oh, gosh. Closer than I wanted it to be. Okay, did we learn anything new? No. Looks like Exit was our most recent spell. Look at Fighter McFighter. Okay, these are one of the 2 exception characters where they do reuse the model and just swap the colors, but they, I think, are brothers or something. You want to travel on, little one? Well, it's impossible. The bridge is down and it'll take a while to fix. The only way for you to get to Normoon is by the way of Cull Hazard Cave. Yes, that's right. That's why we need to go to Cull Hazard. From this point on, we'll be entering the Windward Forest. But we hear that a suspicious magician has shown up. He has the power to control the wind and probably the one who blew down the bridge. Right. Blew down the bridge. If you notice, the bridge is perfectly fine. In fact, we can walk across the entire thing. The only thing we can't do is just open the gate here. A little bit funny. But oh well. RPG logic. Alright, let's get down to the forest of windiness. Mean old skeleton. Hey, Skeletor. These guys look like they're gonna make short work of us if we're not careful. Wish there was a better way to hit all of them with water. Ow. Okay. Now we just got Senior Bones here to deal with. He's using our own large cutter spell against us. Boy, does it hurt. I really want him... There we go. We want him to use the wind against us. Hopefully we can wait him out here. Okay. Gah! Losing so much HP on these battles. I mean, we're gaining stats back. That's at least good. A single ghost hound. These ghost hounds hurt so much. They do about, 16 damage. Of course, I guess if they miss with one of their... How did that miss? It was like right on top of them. What? Are we cursed? What's going on here? A single hellhound and we're gonna lose over half our HP. That's disgusting. My goodness. We're gonna have to run the bridge again just to get our MP back. The curse of the single ghost hound yet again. Okay, what are we doing wrong here? We can't mitigate this guy's damage. He's gonna hit us. He's gonna hit us with 2 fireballs. Okay, am I mistaken? Does Waterfall level 3 do slightly more damage? It's hard to tell because of the variance in damage. Ugh. Oh great, we're frozen. That's actually not good at all. We can't really get a good angle at these guys. Luckily they seem to be whiffing a lot of their spells. Can we move or something? Finally. We're unfrozen. Rude. Brian! You're like a weatherman. You're only accurate half the time. Oh my goodness, I wanted to sit here and fight him from a distance because he's not able to hit us? We're doing like 15-ish? Doing about 2 to 3 times 8. So 2 times 8 is 16, right? Or does this fire... Hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it only shoots out 6 blades. For some reason I thought it was 8. We're doing 6 times 2, so between 12 and 18 damage. Of course, we take 3 steps and run into the Jackhat Parade again. Brigade. Parade is not a word. Bridges tend to be pretty safe in the game. Typically, there aren't any battle sets tied to them. Brian, you gotta aim, buddy. Come on, man. Think of your father. How are you gonna catch up to him if we take all this time missing our enemies? Alright, so we need to take this eastern-ish path. So it's kind of, what, this way? Off the beaten trail? It really is just some random cave that happens to connect from the center of Lairpool, or from the offshoot of Lairpool to Normoon. Yeah, it's fine. We got nothing better to do, rabbits, than tango with you. This next stretch is going to be just one big fight fest, by the way. For those of you who are new or don't remember, we have to make it to Coal Hazard. We're going to hit an inn, thankfully. They aren't completely heartless. We're going to hit an inn. The inn is the last piece of civilized anything will hit before going through the entirety of Cull Hazard. Cull Hazard isn't too bad as long as you don't get turned around. It's not quite a straight path through, but it more or less is. Where the problem lies is that there are these odd branching paths that are kind of worth exploring, sort of. There's a treasure chest or two and a spirit or two scattered about, but it is really easy to get turned around and waste a lot of time going back and forth in places that you've already been. Because again, it's a giant cave. Like, everything looks the same. By the time you figured out that you got turned around, you might have gotten turned around while you're being turned around. Because you're constantly being assaulted by, well, this level of random battles. Except, believe it or not, as always, the random battles in Cull Hazard are ever more dangerous than the ones we're encountering out here. I appreciate the water sound effect when getting closer to the ocean. So we're safe around here. We need to make our preparations now. Honestly, there aren't really many preparations to make. Other than, I think taking stock of our water spells... You know, we can cast Exit now that I think about it. I guess we can escape from the cave that way if we run into real trouble. We shouldn't, though. Unless we pick a fight with one too many wyverns. Do you think spells missing was necessary? You already have to position yourself. Like, why can it miss? Why is it that when a giant waterfall hits the enemy straight up, like, why do we miss? How did they dodge a waterfall? I guess it's all simulated. But it's not simulated. The fact is we have to walk over to the enemy, and the animation of our spell has to hit them. Like that. That's not going to hit anything. That's a miss. Well, that clearly hit. I don't know. I'm just salty we keep missing. Well, we're good for now. We're gonna get healing level 2 soon enough. That one's far more usable in real combat. Okay, who are you? Dorothy. After you pass a cave known as Cull Hazard up ahead, it's straight on to Normoon. It's quite a hike, so rest here until you're ready to leave. Okay, we've got Ice Knife, Water Wall, Escape. Okay, so we can escape battles if we get really in trouble. Other than that, I don't think we learned any new spells. Yeah. To Cull Hazard! Okay. Into Cull Hazard we go. This place just brings back memories. Memories of feeling so helpless and lost. This music really triggers it. Funnily enough, I think this game, and possibly even this cave itself, is what made me begin to appreciate massive labyrinthian dungeons, or massive labyrinthian just places to go visit and get lost in. I think I should point out that that does not mean that games that have massive areas and nothing to do in them are good. Those still tick me off. Nothing's worse than a game with a huge world and nothing to do in it. But yeah, I love this. Just the big cavern, the water below. Constant assault of monsters. If you didn't know, you're safe in these little caves, but the moment you go out of them like this, you're suspect to battles. And yes, this section does look identical to the last. You'll get a lot of that in Cull Hazard. These bats are a little annoying because they are immune, or I shouldn't say immune, they're resistant to wind, but luckily we are dual typed into water. It's sort of an advantage to dual typing. It allows you to not have all your eggs in one basket. It does make sense though, we're heading up on the water portion of the game. Earlier we did the earth portion, and so the game favored a lot more earth creatures, such as the man-eater, the plant, the man-eater, the man-trap, the marionette, all those guys. But heading up here, we're gonna hit a few tough air creatures. Well, I don't know. The game doesn't really specifically give you air creatures, but certainly the boss at the end is air. Meaning that we're gonna focus more on water attacks for him, if we can help it. So this is a big first antechamber in Cull Hazard. It's pretty much a straight line, except we're gonna get over here and there's gonna be a branching path. It's going to be the first divergence, the first place in the dungeon that you can really get turned around. Good news is these blood gels are apparently earth because they take a full 40 from our Windblade. Why do I keep doing that? I know why I keep doing it. It's because I'm trying to hit the C buttons with a joystick. There's not really a better way to do it though. Ha! What do you know? The restriction actually matters. If we do run into a wyvern, and it is possible we just go through the entire dungeon without finding one, it's not a very common encounter. If we do run into a wyvern though, using restriction might actually not be a bad idea. Run away, restriction, restriction, and then go in for the kill, so to say. The arrows from the blood gels are nice when you consider that they hit multiple times. They're a good way to level up both defense and HP. I said wyverns are uncommon, and here we run into one. Okay, so this is our first wyvern fight. It's actually not a bad idea to try to restrict it. Also, there's a sweet spot where if we might have it right here. If we're standing in just the right spot, the wyvern can't hit you. We won't be able to find out though because it has been restricted. So the idea here is to leave the skelebats alive, and that's going to skip the wyvern's turn several times in a row. Well, twice. And then when it comes to be the wyvern's turn, you see like just right there, the wyvern loses its turn because it's restricted. This is probably the safest way to fight these guys, because otherwise the HP they have coupled with the damage that they do is just far too Far too large to make it feasible. Far too great. Okay, we have one more chance to restrict him. Nope, didn't happen. Okay. There we go. You see how he moved up and he didn't actually hit us? That's what we want. Unfortunately, it also makes it difficult because moving into staff range may put us too close to the wyvern so that he does hit us. What he does is he breathes 2 fireballs. He uses the fire level 2 spell, but because the model is so high up in the air, what happens is by default the AI will try to move close to you and then breathe fire. And if you let it do that and don't hit a direction, the fire will travel and run out right before it hits you. It's kind of hilarious. I don't know how they didn't catch that in debugging, but or maybe it was intentional. I don't know. Oh my goodness! Well, this wyvern fight is going to be a lot harder because we need to. We don't have the skelebats. In fact, we should probably just run. Oh wait, are you serious? Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I forgot about that. So he'll run up and try to breathe the double fire, and then he'll use something called eruption on you. So as long as we move away a little bit, we might be okay. No, see, it's not going to work. So you get the first fire spell for free, and then he swaps over to eruption when he gets close enough, and that's what's going to screw us over. We're doubling back around. This is not the correct way to go. We're going to come over here because of the spirit and treasure chests. Okay, wyverns might be a lot more common than I remembered. Oh, we do have healing level 2 now. That's good. Grab a healing potion. Put more points into water. I'm not too afraid. We have plenty of HP. You started the game with 50 HP and 15 MP, but currently 96 is more than enough to get through Cull Hazard. There aren't too many fights we'll run into aside from trying to fight a wyvern head-on that will challenge us as long as we have full HP. It's also very handy. The blood gels are very common, and they come in number, so being able to deal wind damage to them is pretty important. Or meaningful, I should say. Come on! What was that, like, one step? Alright. So if you're wondering, well, how far into the game are we? We're decently far. Not past the halfway point. I would say probably the point where we, I don't know, get the water. What am I doing? I'm running on autopilot. We need to be restricting the wyvern. By the time we get the water orb is about the halfway point. But as long as you're building Brian correctly, the game gets progressively easier. Sort of. Cull Hazard is probably the last big challenge that we'll run into. Why don't we just restrict everything but the wyvern? Come on, Brian. I'm trying to hit the wyvern here. It's gonna come up and breathe fire. Hopefully it'll miss. Yeah. We can use the Skelebat's turns to get further away so it doesn't use eruption. Did we get it? I can't even see. Okay. So we're good for now. But see, this is an interesting tactic, right? I mean, it's a little manipulative because we are utilizing the Skelebat's turns to sort of skip the Wyvern's turns, and that's kind of obtuse. But aside from that, the fact that we actually get to use our restriction spell, you know, and we didn't have to have that spell at this point. We didn't dump a bunch of points into wind, yet wind is still relevant throughout this entire game. I really like that. It's fun from a character building perspective. You're dipping into the other elements to get skills and abilities, and I am lost. I'm totally turned around. Which way were we headed? I think it was this way. Welcome to Call Hazard. That's okay, I think we're going the right way. I was totally facing the wrong direction. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's probably the second best. Do you think wind into water is the easiest path? It's the easiest path I've discovered. Second easiest might be pure water. I really think the wind is worth it. The wind makes it easier in the beginning, especially when you fight, what's his name? Solvering. However, you can still kill him with pure water. It's not impossible. Fire's good, I just never really got into the whole vampiric touch thing. I found it to be really inconsistent. Especially when you buff yourself with vampiric touch and then you run over and swing at the enemy and miss. And you were relying on that to hit in order to gain your MP back, or HP back. I will admit though, you tend to use less magic, so you're less reliant on MP as a fire mage. And the fire spells themselves aren't terrible. Or at least early on, they're not terrible. I can't speak too much for other variants. Maybe it's fire that you get steam in, and ice wall is the water spell. Steam, there's a fire version of the ice wall spell, but it's just empirically worse. Because it doesn't freeze the enemy, whereas ice wall does. Same graphics, same range, just different element. Colored red, of course. So it seems that we're healing about 14 HP with healing level 1, and about 21 HP with healing level 2, which means statistically, neither spell is superior. One just costs more and heals the same amount per MP, anyway. Yeah, I was definitely wrong that wyverns weren't common. They're very common, aren't they? Anyway, so you might be thinking, like, well, doesn't that make healing level 2 superior all the time? Sort of. I mean, when you think of it from a grinding standpoint, you would much rather cast healing level 1, because you would have to cast it more times. You'd heal the same amount of HP. Oh, that was the wrong direction. You'd heal the same amount of HP, but you'd... I don't know, would you... It depends on how the leveling works, right? Do you gain EXP per MP lost, or do you gain it per cast? Because if it's per cast, the lower level healing would be better for grinding. Or stat padding, I should say. Cats are out. Forgot to close them in the back. I think fire also grants you access to attack up, which admittedly is a pretty fun spell to walk over and just nail people for 1,000,000 damage. Brian's staff is already powerful, so increasing its power even more is just funny. Maybe at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which healing spell you use. Level 2 or level 1 doesn't really matter. The effect on the game is minimal. Cookie, stop knocking the mic. Get out of here. Ugh, she won't leave me alone. A little low on MP. Might want to run away if we run into a fight. Although these treasure chests are a safe zone. As crazy as that sounds, we can run back and forth between them, and we won't run into a battle. I think I'm gonna do that, actually. Oh, I thought they were a safe zone. Guess I'm wrong. We could try and restrict them, or we could use escape. Or we could just heal. That might be the safer bet. Cookie, knock it off! She's just giving me the most betrayed look. Yeah, we don't really want to fight a wyvern head-on. We're not immortal. Nor are we the most powerful thing in Celtshire? Is that where we are? Celt something. Celtland? Realistically, how could we fight this head-on? I mean, it's fire, right? You would assume. Suppose if we froze it. Hold on, I want to try this. It would be nice if we hit with something. Hey! Okay. And now if we just spam Ice Wall? Ice Wall is a beautiful spell. We're gonna run out of MP though. He's gotta be close to death, right? Ugh. We can't spend that much HP to find out. Oh, come on! Alright, one more shot. We'll escape, or we'll win. Either or. Hey! Very nice. So we're never going to use these dewdrops in battle. So I'm just going to use one here. Healing 10 MP in battle is typically not enough. So Celtland, right? Some kind of island that's supposed to be based off of, I assume, Scotland. Yeah, what goes on this island? What do people do when the world isn't in danger? And how do normal people travel through Cull Hazard? Everyone must be a super wizard. For that matter, what do people eat? We saw 2 sheep. Haven't seen a single farm. Guess there was that fisherman who doubled as a town guard. Stupid blood gel, just die. Probably gonna have to run from the next battle. Choices. Right or left? Let's try left. I think it's a dead end. Yeah. Right it is. What are you doing? She's so needy. Okay, do we bother restricting this wyvern? We could just ice wall him. Hope to get lucky again. Speaking of getting lucky. I think I mentioned this earlier, but striking with the staff also gets us experience points in HP. So you're not really losing anything by killing things with the staff. You might think, oh no, we're not leveling up our mana. Or, it's not mana. MP. But you don't need to worry about it, because you're getting something out of it either way. And it is funny, like, how a single HP matters, right? I mean, maybe a single one on its own, but a single one gained, stacked against the previous ones that you've gained, actually adds up. This is my favorite part of Cull Hazard. Some kind of weird moss-covered root? I might just like it because it's green. And I love green. So as a child, this part also was a moment of reprieve. I remember getting here after getting turned around 10,000 times. And thinking, whoa! I must be really deep now! What is this place? Where's it gonna lead? And seeing this grassy part and feeling like, huh! It's like an oasis. An oasis for my child mind. Seems like there's no battles here either. It's pretty neat. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds weird, but it's places like this. Like the weird root thing and this little alcove in the middle of the caverns that make me like Quest 64. There's no battles here, there's no magical treasure, but I just like this room. Yeah, well. We'll continue on. We're certainly raising our agility stat. Makes you wonder, though. Was this their original... Or rather, how much of the game that we got was their original intent? Because there are no cutscenes in this game. No cinematics, no... Or at least very few moving pieces. I think that's possibly what's so striking about the environments in this game. You remember that door that moved behind the king's throne? That's one of the only physical objects in the world that actually move. I don't know why. Was it like super difficult in the code or whatever to make moving objects? There's no like windmills. Think about the boat. We got on the boat and it just went away. Like, we screen transitioned in order to simulate the boat sailing off. We didn't even see it move. And the water textures aren't technically moving, they're just textures. The polygons themselves aren't actually being moved from one location to another. And clearly there's plenty of character models, those things move. So we can go up here. I think this is a dead end. Yeah. But stuff like this, too. Like, why is this here? Why was there a secondary way to travel? You would kind of miss this if you were just running right through this room. Because you have to stop and turn around and look backwards. So, I mean, what did they want to do with this game? Was there going to be a plot? Was there going to be characters talking to each other? I mean, we only ever talk to people with Brian. NPCs never talk to each other. We don't see dialogue boxes popping up from other characters without us initiating dialogue with them. It lends itself to this sort of boxy feeling. And as I said earlier, when we get to the later parts of the game, it will really feel boxy. Boxy and unfinished. And I find it to be fascinating. It's like you get to wander around and look in and think, you know, what did some designer want to do with this? Maybe there wasn't a plan. Maybe it was always supposed to be boxy and empty. Who knows? I think we're mostly through Coal Hazard at this point. Oh, we are through Coal Hazard. Well, here we are. That really wasn't too bad. I think we're in Normoon now. Yep. This next part's gonna get a little rough. We'll loot the town. Hey there, have you seen a silver-haired man with razor-sharp eyes? Where's that knave gone? Yeah, so the story is there was a circus troupe that came to town, and one of the members went crazy. That was the ringleader, I think, just based on the way he looked. And if you haven't guessed, the ringleader, or not the ringleader, the circus troupe member that went crazy is the one who stole the wind orb. What brings a wee lad like yourself to Normoon? Don't you know it's dangerous to travel around? You look like you've had a difficult journey. Will you be staying for the night? Yes. Yes, we will. Hi, Shannon. Hello. So you too have come to this town. I've heard of a mysterious gem of the Windward Forest with power to control the wind. I heard that a wind sorcerer has been seen here. We can still feel his zephyrs. But for how long, I wonder? Well, probably until we kill him. Or until you get off your skinny butt and do some work yourself. This guy looks like you! Leonardo! Hi, I'm Leonardo. I'm a magician, too. You're old Bart's son, huh? I've heard of you. People say you're a favorite of the spirits. Your father was here about a month ago. He said he came across the lock and was on his way to Limeland. I can't wait for things to return to normal, so I can get on with my search for the alchemist's secret. What is this, like the character from the sequel or something that never happened? I don't know. Could have been. We'll never know. Still no one in these rooms. Not long ago, 4 vagabonds came to our town. One of them looked quite cunning, claimed he was a magician with plenty of magic. I haven't seen him lately, but his cohorts are still around. What could have happened to him? Oh, they were vagabonds? I thought they were circus people. Am I just wrong? I'm probably just wrong. They look like a circus troupe. Look at this guy. Me and my mates are vagabonds. We wander wherever our boots take us. But the other day, we stumbled across a precious stone in the woods outside this town. But after we got into this town, the one who was holding it disappeared. Alright. So they're not circus troops. Maybe I just thought they were circus troops as a kid. Look at that guy. Okay, we actually need to get into this hay, oats, or whatever you want to call it. I guess I did just complain that there were no farms, but here we go. They might be raising some kind of crop here. Oh, there it is. Okay, there should be another one here. And I believe that's it for this crop. There are a couple others. At least one more. Nobody here but us old folks. We're retired druids. We can't do magic anymore, so if the wind should stop or demons should swarm into town, we would be powerless to do much about it. Okay, where's that other one? Should be able to see the bubbles. Huh. Is there not another one? Maybe not. If you eat all your honey bread, don't worry. I'll give you more. Well, you look like a normal fellow. There was a magician in our group who kept to himself. He disappeared not far from here. He might be in the woods. Get our wings to Normoon. What a cute looking laddie! I'm just a hag, but I am the keeper of the green wings. Have we hit all the houses? Yeah, we talked to you already. I guess that's it. I really thought there was another spirit, though. We got the 2 here. We already rested at the inn. Yeah, there's just none here. Alright. Well, into the forest we go.